So you've got this powerful mission, right? A real vision for making a change in Nepal. But how do you take that vision and turn it into a real legal organization? It can feel like a maze. Well, today we're going to cut right through all that complexity and find the exact legal path your mission needs to not just survive, but to truly succeed. And this is the big question, isn't it? Do you go the route of a classic NGO, or should you set yourself up as a nonprofit company? Now, they might sound kind of similar, but trust me, this choice has huge implications for your funding, how you're governed, and even your day-to-day work. So stick with me and let's break down exactly what each path means so you can make this call with total confidence. Okay, before we put these two options head-to-head, we need to understand the rules of the game. The entire nonprofit world in Nepal is built on three legal pillars. Getting a handle on these isn't just boring legal stuff. It's absolutely the first step to building an organization that's going to last. First up, we've got the classic, the Associations Registration Act. You can think of this as the original blueprint for community organizations. It's the law that lets a group of at least 7 people get together and form an official entity that can, in theory, live on forever, all focused on social good. This is the real heart of the traditional NGO world. Now here's the more modern alternative, the Companies Act. This law actually created a special category for a company not distributing profits. So picture this. It has the structure of a regular business, but it's got a nonprofit soul. Any profit it makes gets plowed right back into the mission. And for this route, you only need 5 people to get started. And finally, we have the gatekeeper, the Social Welfare Council, or SWC. This is a government agency you absolutely cannot ignore. Seriously, if you have any plans to work with international partners or receive a single dollar of foreign funding, you will be dealing with the SWC. They're the ones who give the green light. All right, now that we've got that foundation down, let's put these two structures right next to each other. This is where the rubber meets the road. Are you about community versus control, grants versus enterprise? This direct comparison is going to show you exactly how different they are in the real world. So let's just start with the absolute basics. Who do you need on your founding team? As you can see, the traditional NGO route needs a slightly larger group, at least 7 Nepali citizens. On the other hand, a nonprofit company lets you start with a tighter core team of 5. It's a small difference, sure, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. Okay, this table is where things get really interesting, because it breaks down the day-to-day reality. You register an NGO locally, at the district level, but a company is registered centrally. The governance style is totally different too. NGOs are often driven by their members, which is great for community buy-in. Companies, they're run by a board of directors, which gives you tighter control. And here's a huge one, commercial activity. While an NGO can run a project, a nonprofit company is specifically built for sustained commercial operations. Think social enterprise. So with all those differences floating around in your head, how do you actually choose? Well, this next section is your practical guide. We're going to walk through a few key questions that will help you match your mission to the right legal structure. First, let's look at that traditional route. You got to ask yourself, is my project all about community service? Am I going to be relying on grants to fund it? If the answer is yes, then the NGO structure might just be the perfect fit. Let's see if this sounds like you. This slide basically lays it all out. If you're launching, say, a local health clinic or an advocacy group, and you know you're going to be writing grant proposals to fund it, the NGO path is tailor-made for you. It's really designed for these kinds of grassroots, community-focused movements. Okay, but what if that doesn't quite hit the mark for you? What if your vision is a little different, maybe a bit more entrepreneurial? Let's pivot and see if your project is a better match for the nonprofit company structure instead. Now, this is where the company structure really starts to shine. If your plan involves a social enterprise, selling a product or a service to fund your mission, this is your path. It gives you limited liability, which is a huge protection for your directors, and it's definitely the structure you want if you're going to be dealing with banks, corporations, or any kind of complex contracts. But what if you're sitting there thinking, I kind of need both? Well, that's a common spot to be in. The smartest play here is often the hybrid model. It's the best of both worlds, really. You set up 2 separate legal entities. An NGO handles all the grant-funded community work, and a nonprofit company runs your business side. Planning this from the get-go keeps your money clean and will save you from major headaches later on. So, you've weighed your options. You've made a choice. Fantastic. Now, let's get practical. We're going to shift from the what to the how, with a clear step-by-step roadmap for the registration process itself. Okay, registering an NGO involves a few local steps. It all starts with your founding committee. From there, you'll need local recommendations, maybe an endorsement from the District Coordination Committee, the DCC, before you can finally file with the District Administration Office, or DAO. And don't forget the last two steps. They're crucial for actually operating. Getting your PAN number for taxes and banking, and then affiliating with the SWC if you're chasing those foreign funds. So the big question, how long does all this take? Well, you need to be prepared for a process that can last anywhere from 1 week to maybe even 8 weeks. The honest truth is, it really depends on how efficient your local district offices are and how perfect your paperwork is. It's always a good idea to build in a little extra time. Now, the process for a nonprofit company, it's more centralized, and because of that, it can often feel a bit more streamlined. You start at the central office of the company registrar, the OCR, to reserve your name. The most important part is drafting your legal documents. Once those are filed and approved, you'll move on to tax registration, getting your PAN and VAT numbers and all those other official duties. Getting registered is a massive milestone, and you should totally celebrate it. But it's not the end of the journey. In this last section, we're going to talk about how to stay on the right track for the long haul and how to avoid the common mistakes that could put your whole mission at risk. Assuming one size fits all, bad logic. This really is the core message of this whole explainer. Your legal structure isn't just a piece of paper. It's the operating system for your entire organization, and choosing the wrong one can cause so many problems down the line. So let's talk about discipline. Right from day one, write really tight bylaws so your mission doesn't wander off track. Budget for your audits and renewals. They aren't optional, they're a cost of doing business. Keep your bank accounts clean. Mixing donor funds with your other money is a massive red flag for everyone. And please, please take the Social Welfare Council's requirements seriously. They are not just suggestions. And here are just a few more critical traps. Don't pick your structure just to save on taxes. Pick it because it fits what you actually do. When you start hiring people, you have to follow Nepal's labor laws. That's completely non-negotiable. And here's a pro tip that'll save you a ton of grief. Get a quick legal review before you file. Seriously, think of it as cheap insurance that can save you from an expensive and painful restructuring later. And that's a wrap. We've covered the legal pillars, we've compared the structures, and we've laid out the roadmap. You now have a clear map to navigate the entire nonprofit landscape in Nepal. So the only question left is the most exciting one of all. What are you going to build with it?